The diameter of a conical paper cup is 3.5 inches, and the length of the sloping side is 4.55 inches. And here we have the diagram. Using pi as 22/7, where necessary, calculate the area of the curved surface of the paper cup. Now, when they ask us for the area of the curved surface of the paper cup, they're referring to the lateral surface area. So they want us to figure out, right, what is this one? All right, so this part that I'm shading, this part that I have shaded, what is the lateral surface area? And so we say that the area of the curved surface of the paper cup is going to be given by the formula pi RL. And pi RL is the lateral surface area of a cone in general. And so what is pi? Well, pi is equal to 22/7. That's what we have here. Pi is 22/7. What is R? Well, R is 1.75. Now, the reason why R is 1.75 is because we take the diameter, right? And we divide it by 2. So the radius is only half of the radius is only half of the diameter. So it's going to be 3.5 divided by 2, which gives us 1.75. And so the radius is 1.75. So pi is 22/7, the radius is 1.75, and we have to multiply by 4.55, that's L, all right? 4.55 right there. And so what we have to do is we say, okay, well, 1.75 multiplied by 4.55. And when we multiply those two, what do we get? When we take 1.75, what's 1.75 multiplied by 4.55, we get 4.9625, which we put over 1. And we still have the 22/7. Now, 22 times 7.9625 is going to be 175.175. And 7 times 1 is simply 7. Next, we divide these two. And when we divide these two, we get 25.025 inches. And so that means that the area of the curved surface of the paper cup is 25.025 inches squared. Next, we need to determine the depth of the cup, D, right? So what is this? What is D? The depth of the cup, all right? Let's look at this first image, all right? So this is H, all right? And this is R. If you notice carefully, this is actually a right angle triangle, right? Right here. And so in order for us to figure what is the height, we can use properties of a right angle triangle in order for us to be able to find it. If we were to turn this cup the other way, H would be equal to D, the depth, right? So H and the depth would be the same thing. So the height, right, of the height, and then this is going to be R, the radius, but they call it the depth, right? We could call it by H or D, but in this case, they want us to use D. And so the depth of the cup, right, is going to be D. And so that's what we have to figure out. And again, we can use properties of right angle triangle to determine what is H. Okay, so let's go ahead. The depth of the cup, D. So what do we know? Well, let me say the depth of the cup. We know that we're referring to this particular length, right? This radar. And so how can we figure that out? Well, we know that the radius is 1.75. And we know that because it's half of the diameter. So the radius is 1.75. We have this sloping side, the side of it, its measurement, the measurement of the sloping side is 4.55. And so all we need to do is figure out what is this length. So essentially we have a right angle triangle, and we know what is this side, we know what is this side, and we need to figure out what is this side. Now, in order to do that, we're going to use Pythagoras theorem. And Pythagoras theorem says c squared is equal to a squared plus b squared, where c is the hypotenuse, which is the longest side, right? So c is the hypotenuse. And it's also the side that is opposite the right angle. And A in this case is 1.75. And B, which is, C is the hypotenuse, which is 4.55. A is 1.75. And B, right? B is the unknown one. And so let's substitute these values. Again, C is equal to 4.55. That's what C is. C is equal to 4.55. A is equal to 1.75. That's what A is, right? And B, well, we just have B squared. Okay, so what we have here is we say 4.55 squared. That gives us 20.7025. 1.7 squared is equal to 1.75 squared is equal to 3.0625. And we put plus B squared. And so what we're going to do is we're going to take this 3,600. We're going to take, so what we're going to do is we're going to take this 3.0625 and send it over the equal sign. Again, we're going to take 3.0625 and send it over the equal sign. And that gives us, it was a positive, but now it becomes a negative. So we have 20.7025 minus 3.0625. And so B squared, that's what B squared is equal to. Now, when we subtract these two, we get 17.64. So we have 17.64 is equal to B squared. We take the square root of both sides. And so this cancels with this. And so we have that B is equal to the square root of 17.64. Again, B is equal to the square root of 17.64. All right, next, what is the square root of 17.64? Well, the square root of 17.64 is 4.2. So that means that B is equal to 4.2. So the depth of the cup is equal to 4.2 inches. Okay, let's move on to the next question. Here we need to figure out the volume of the cup when full. Now, what is the volume of the conical cup? Well, the volume that we could use, the area for the volume that we could use, I'm sorry, the formula for the volume of the conical cup that we could use is 1/3 times pi r squared times h. Now, what is pi? Pi is 22/7. What is r? R is 1.75. What is h? Well, h, right? H is definitely 4.2. How do we get 4.2? Because 4.2 is the height or the depth of the cup. Okay, 4.2. And so what we have? We have 1.75 squared multiplied by 4.2. Again, we have 1.75 squared multiplied by 4.2. And when we multiply them, we get 12.8625 against 1.75 squared multiplied by 4.2 is 12.8625. Next, we say, okay, let's multiply these two. So we have 1 times 22, which is 22. I'm sorry, we have 1. Okay, what we did now? Okay, so what we actually did is we multiplied. So we multiplied 12.8625 by 22. Again, we multiplied 12.8625 by 22, and that gave us 282.975. And we put that over 7. And then we say 1/3 multiplied by this particular fraction that we have here. So we say 1 times 282.975. So we have 282.975. 3 times 7 is 21. And so we divide these two. When we divide these two, when we divide 282.975, when we divide that by 21, we get 13.75. And so that means that this is going to be correct. 13.75 centimeters cube, all right? I'm sorry, inches cube, not centimeters cube, inches cube. So 13.75 inches cube. Okay, let's move on to the next question. Nope, that brings us to the end of this question. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.